Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Financial Tides. Today we have a popular topic about asking an AI in finance. I'm your host today, Taylor Perillo, certified financial planner, and we are going to just talk about AI and its impact kind of in the financial space. And we know it's popular out there and it's around, so we want to make sure that we're bringing you information about it and kind of addressing how it can be used and how you should be using it in your financial picture. We're hearing a lot about the shift of people getting financial advice, not necessarily in the form of a human expert like ourselves, but artificial intelligence. So, ask an AI, we're talking about forms of ChatGPT, AI powered investment apps, Gemini, all the different types of chatbots and different forms of AI. So, if you had a meeting with us, recently, you know that we've adopted some AI with our AI note taker in our meetings. And if you haven't yet, you'll see that in the next upcoming meeting. AI can be great if used properly. So we're using it in our case to kind of have somebody there that's basically taking notes and sitting in on the meetings, recording the meetings and transcribing what's going on. So that way we can focus our attention on you, the client, hearing what you have to say and coming up with ideas to help your financial situation instead of having to be turning left and right and jotting down notes the entire meeting. So we're by no means against AI. We think it is a powerful tool for efficiency, and we think it's really important in modern time because you have more tools than some people had in the past. You're not going down to the library to check out a book to read about something. AI is no longer niche. It's became the mainstream. So this is really important now. Major banks, investment firms are integrating AIs into their chats, their apps, budgeting tools. It's kind of everywhere. So people sometimes can bypass the traditional path to advice before you know what you have to read and just kind of go right to the AI as the first source of information. Really, we think that it can complement traditional advice, but it shouldn't be used individually. And the reason why is it's really a double-edged sword. There's good. It's giving kind of the access to knowledge to everyone. It's spreading information in a concise way that you don't have to really go digging for it. But it's also removing a lot of the natural friction that causes people to think before acting. So if you've been listening to us or speaking with us or are already a client, you know that the number one thing in finances that causes negative returns is the emotion and the emotional side of things. And if you have a little bit of friction there where you have to go and research and actually read and find information, you're going to go and find that information. And by the time you get there, you may have thought better of it. Whereas with information so easily at your fingertips, it's a lot easier to jump into that emotion and say, here it is. Here's what I was looking for. I see I'm making the right decision and think a little bit more impulsively. So one example, if you're 26, say, you have $5,000 in credit card debt, $2,000 in savings. You ask an AI, should I invest or should I pay off my debt? It might just say, hey, you should invest because historical market returns are 8%. And that sounds great. You're like, hey, 8%, yeah, that's something that I should do. I should definitely be investing. But it doesn't know what your credit card debt is and what the interest rate is. And you have 24% APR on your credit card. Well, then that's an expensive mistake. 8% returns while paying 24%. That makes no sense whatsoever. You have to be important and you have to be really precise with how you prompt and the information that you give the AIs when you ask the question, and so that your prompt leads to an answer that's a little bit more personalized and taking into account all the relevant facts. We'll start with really just kind of the pros of asking an AI. So we covered kind of the speed, 24/7 availability. You could ask it at midnight. There's no scheduling needed, and it's a good source of quick information and quick education. There's low or no costs, obviously, that you can buy subscription-based ones, but a lot of the AI are free and that you can just go right in and use it. They're built more to provide service to you. They do a lot for brainstorming potential. So if you start having an idea and you're kind of looking to bounce an idea that's not fully thought out, you could bounce back and forth ideas with AI. There's not going to be any judgment there when you're idea isn't fully thought out and completed, it'll kind of help build out your idea to have a more concrete and constructed way. So an example, you can ask ways to save $200 a month, and it could give you some ideas that you really hadn't thought of, and you can kind of pick and choose which ones you like and try them out, see if they're working or not without having the pressure of feeling like, hey, I want to save $200 a month. I need to make sure I'm doing that. And you may not like some of the ideas. So it gives you kind of that flexibility. And then it's really accessible for beginners. I mean, you can go on a website or an app. It's all right there for you, plain English. You can ask it for an analogy or a step-by-step guide. So it's really useful for people that are intimidated by a lot of the financial jargon and using big, complicated words. So we do like the fact that AI is there, and I'll kind of touch a little bit on that later too, with the ways that you can use it effectively to even explain through some of the financial jargon. So won't touch too far on that. Cons of asking an AI. So this is the big one, and this is why we think that we will still always have a place in this world as financial advisors, and it's just the lack of personal context. There's no way at this stage of the game that you can give an AI all of the information and them know your exact situation and look at a wholesale and implement plans. So a lot of it is incomplete. It's one item advice. And we just don't think that that's the end game for many people. And then the lack of emotional context, I think, besides just the personal aspect, there's a lot of things that may make perfect financial sense, but there's a lot of emotion, like we said, that comes with finances. So we want to make sure that it's going to be advice that's going to be in line with what makes you feel the best emotionally as well, not just what is financial optimization, which I think is a big part of that personal connection that we have with our clients. So the next thing is you have to be really careful about the information. We've seen in many cases there's a lot of outdated or incorrect information because most AI models are scraping the internet for as much information as possible, which means that there's still that outdated and incorrect information that's on the internet in certain places. So we've seen examples of AI quoting 2023 IRA contribution limits in the year 2025 and ignoring the fact that it has increased. And it's just because, again, scraping the internet, there's a lot of unfiltered information on the internet, and AI really takes everything into account. The next thing is just overgeneralization. So the information AI gives you, again, it's scraping information. So you're getting very textbook answers that might sound right, but it's missing like the key exceptions. So, for example, that certain income limits may go into your availability to fund a Roth. So it may say, hey, it's great. You should absolutely fund a Roth. Like at your age, Roth is a great idea, but it might not be accounting for the fact that your income is too high to even fund a Roth. So take into account the fact that there's exceptions to many rules and AI may not have those accounted for. And then the overconfidence bias that it creates, I think, is another one of the main issues that if you use only the AI, that you're going to end up falling into this trap because it prevents information in such a polished way with a certain tone that it makes you think whatever information you're getting is just unquestionably correct. And people don't verify. They think, hey, you know what? AI is right. So it's the whole trust but verify step that you can say, hey, I want to get the information, but I definitely need to verify it because even though this sounds good and looks good, it might not be good. And I think that plays into the other bias, which is confirmation bias, that if you're only seeking the information that of what you want to do and you have it in your idea, you want to do it, but you're just looking for information to confirm it. When you see the AI and it says what you want it to say, you're going to think that it's 100% true with confirmation bias because it supports what you want it to say. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's 100% true. So absolutely be verifying any information you get in AI. Don't let it create a sense of overconfidence for you. I think the best ways to use AI in your finance is some of these examples here. And I think this is how people should be using it, and we encourage people to use it now. And we think the first one is treating it as a research assistant. So use it for definitions, use it for comparisons, lists of options that you may have, and then ask follow-up questions to clarify more complex topics. So you kind of are getting the idea and kind of figuring out what you want to know before, so you're educated on the topic, and just being prepared to kind of have a more intelligent conversation about the topic. But again, research assistant, it's not leading your research. You're using it to figure out if and how different options are there and what to look deeper into. Next, a preparation tool. So obviously, you're getting a lot of financial advice. You have different questions. You want to bounce questions back and forth and kind of brainstorm to have a more complete thought before you come in and speak with us about financial advice. You could use it to organize your financial data and to clean summaries before the meetings. There's a lot of different ways as a preparation tool that AI is an amazing resource to be used. And then lastly, learning accelerators. So we all know that no one gets taught financial education in school, for better or worse. I mean, maybe a few people do. Maybe in college, if you end up in that side of your college major, you'll get a little bit more exposure to it. But for the most part, we don't have a real consistent financial education structure anywhere, and it sorely is missed across future generations and even current generations. So using this as a way to learn and asking for multiple explanations, and this is kind of what I was touching on earlier, is you can tell the AI to explain it to me like I'm 12. You can say, put it in bullet points, give me pros and cons of this topic, dumb it down for me, and it'll really explain in different words and keep being able to re-explain. And you can tell it, take the financial jargon out of this, and it'll really just dumb it down in a way that's really easily understandable and digestible, so that you can use that to build a good foundation while you're learning and building out and kind of modeling in a more human way, than you might get if you're just reading online and trying to find articles about it. Because a lot of the people that read and write these articles are the people that really know every financial definition, and they're not always catered to the people that want to know about it, but they don't need to understand every minuscule detail the way that these are written. So, in summary, I think AI is a super powerful tool. It's not replaceable for judgment. There's a lot of aspects that are completely human still in this financial space, but it does really level the playing field for financial literacy and helping you with bigger financial decisions and completing thoughts in a real substantial way. So, in finance, quick and easy can be a very expensive shortcut. So be very, very careful with your quick and easy answers that you find on AI, but definitely adopt it, use it where you're comfortable, and then trust but verify. Thanks for your time today. Thank you for listening to Financial Tides. We will catch you on the next one.
John Perillo and Taylor Perillo are financial advisors offering securities through Cetera Advisors LLC, a registered broker-dealer, doing insurance business in California as CFGA Insurance Agency LLC, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor. Cetera firms are under separate ownerships from any other named entity. California insurance licenses number 0F60123 and 0M90666, 6265 Greenwich Drive, Suite 251, San Diego, California 92122. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Advisors LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Advisors LLC nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice.